Deltarune and Undertale are closely related games, and every fan surely knows that by now. However, you might not have caught or forgotten about all the Easter eggs in Undertale that were supposed to announce Toby Fox's next game. Hi Deltarune fans! Today we'll summarize each of them and also talk about River Person, because I think they are strongly related to this topic. I'll say right away that if you like this video, you can subscribe for more Deltarune content, or support me in any other way that you prefer. I really appreciate all of your support. And now, let's begin. If you didn't know, Toby Fox came up with the idea for Deltarune before Undertale came out, which is why we can find a lot of things in that game that were supposed to foreshadow it. Let's start with River Person because their dialogues are really interesting. Out of a really large number of them, I found 3 that most likely foreshadow Deltarune. The first is, did you ever hear the old song coming from the sea? This seems to be a reference to what Onion tells us in Deltarune chapter 2. That sometimes they hear a song under the water at night and that they think they had heard it before coming from the sea but can't remember it well. They say it outright that it's not a new song. In chapter 4, when we sit by the lake with Suzy, she says that she can hear someone playing a song on the other side of the lake. Chris, however, doesn't hear it. I'm very curious what this is all about, and I think that we'll have to get the answer someday. Another River Person line referring to Deltarune is, beware of the man who came from the other world. We know very well that Deltarune and Undertale are like alternative universes. Many people speculate that the one who came from the other world might be SANS. Since we know that he and Papyrus haven't lived in Snowdin forever, and SANS tells us that he wanted to return somewhere but he gave up a long time ago. Papyrus even said he remembers green grass from where they lived originally. I'll make a full video about this theory someday, so stay tuned. The last thing related to Deltarune kinda is beware of the man who speaks in hands. This is an obvious reference to Wingding's GASTER, whose text is written in the Wingding's font, which uses many gestures instead of letters. We know that GASTER is incredibly important to the story of Deltarune, but exactly how is unclear. He is able to communicate with us, with the soul, and no one else is able to hear it. We are somehow connected with him, and it seems as if he has some power over this world or watches it from above. Assuming of course that he's the narrator, but most people have already accepted that idea. Many people debate whether he is the one who created this world, or perhaps the angel from the prophecy, or someone else. Anyway, I feel like everything related to GASTER is in some way foreshadowing Deltarune, or at least most of the Easter eggs related to him are. For example, the well-known entry 17. He literally says there that it's darker than dark and that fallen have negative readings, which in the Deltarune world means the creation of a dark world. We know that GASTER is strongly connected to Deltarune, so it's very possible he was experimenting with creating dark fountains. He later talks to 2 other people who are apparently listening. The most popular candidates for this are SANS, whom we know for his lab that he worked with GASTER in some way, we'll discuss that later, and Alphys, who replaced GASTER after his death, if you can call it that. We know that SANS and Alphys know each other and work together after one of the endings. So yeah, that's another thing that ties GASTER to Deltarune. Returning to the River Person for a moment, they also mentioned that the angel is coming. But in the world of Undertale, the angel is something different than the one in the world of Deltarune. So it's hard to say what exactly this is supposed to refer to. Okay, now that we've analyzed what the River Person says to us, let's figure out their identity. They remind a lot of people of Raze from the beginning of chapter 1, but I don't think it's him because of the way he talks. There's a huge chance that the River Person is no one in particular and that they're simply a mysterious figure on their own, but if someone wears a large hooded cloak to hide their identity and knows so much about a world they have theoretically never been to, it's no wonder we want to find out what their story is. So my theory is that River Person is Toby Fox. Yes, it may sound strange, but it seems the most likely to me. He hides his identity from the player, knows about both Undertale and Deltarune, gives us suggestions for Easter eggs, helps us navigate his world, and most importantly, sometimes has the annoying dog on his boat. You can tell me what you think about this theory, it makes a lot of sense to me, but I can fully accept that it doesn't have to be the case. A huge reference to Deltarune in Undertale is the Deltarune symbol itself that appears in the game. Here is the emblem of the Kingdom of Monsters. The top symbolizes the angel who come from the surface, and the triangles are monsters on the ground. In Deltarune, it's a religious symbol where yeah, the top again represents the angel, but the triangles are the heroes from the prophecy, Chris, Ralsei, and Suzy. However, nothing compares to the foreshadowing that CLAM girl provided us with. If you don't know, this is an NPC that sometimes appears in Waterfall if your fun value is between 80 and 89. It tells us about Suzy, which is highlighted in yellow, her neighbor's daughter with whom she thinks we should become friends. She says she lives in some city, but she doesn't tell us which one, but that's not a problem because we'll find her anyway, that's what fate wants. However, we are unable to meet Suzy anywhere in Undertale. In the Nintendo Switch and Xbox versions, when you talk to her with fun value 81, her text will change and say that the meeting with Suzy is close approaching. She'll also turn into a goner. It's worth saying that Undertale came out on Switch a month before Deltarune's release, so this whole build-up with Suzy was definitely supposed to lead to Deltarune. Goners, who we now know CLAM girl was, have a tendency to know more than they should and share it with the protagonist. It's very possible that, like that bird from the library, she originally lived in hometown and something made her become a goner that ended up in the world of Undertale. After all, we know she comes from a city where Suzy also lives. We can see CLAM guy in hometown, so it's not a stretch to assume CLAM girl could live there too. However, at this point we have never met her. The way the name was spelled was also puzzling. Many people began wondering if SUZY with a Z was from the Undertale world, hence the different spelling. But I honestly don't think it matters that much. Goners can talk in a strange way, like that guy we know will become a goner. The bird itself is also foreshadowing Deltarune, and it's possible that like all the other goners, it also refers to the copies and molecule motif that we learned about in chapter 3. In Undertale, if we really work hard, we can get the key to SANS'S room. There we can find a key that will open his workshop behind his house for us. It's worth noting that its existence is also pointed out to us by the river person. We can find a blueprint of some machine there, and next to it a broken, strange covered machine. We can guess that they are related. The blueprint can't be read because it's written in strange symbols. That's most likely a reference to the Wingnate's font I mentioned earlier. In the drawer we can find a photo of SANS with some people we don't recognize. This is another argument that SANS is not from the world of Undertale and the machine could have been his attempt to return to his world. However, when we talk to CLAM Girl in the 1001 version released in January 2016, the photo changes to a drawing of two unknown people smiling. Underneath them it says "Don't Forget", which is the Deltarune theme song. It's not hard to guess that the three characters in the picture are supposed to be Chris, Suzy and RUDY. And what I left for the end are references to characters from Deltarune in Undertale. In the Xbox version we can find a completely new room with SANS where we can gamble. There we can find an upside down blue cap, which is obviously a reference to JOCKINGTON. It's interesting that a reference to him appears there, isn't it? JOCKINGTON Night confirmed! SANS also mentions Noelle and Des in one dialogue. Asger in his dialogue in the Winter Alarm Clock mentions Rudy and how they were friends. He explains however that he unfortunately passed away and it hurts him that he couldn't show him the surface. He also says he got married, which means the entire Holiday family is canon to Undertale, even though we never see them in game. Well, except for the stream for Undertale's 10th anniversary. Behind the Christmas tree in Snowdon we can see little Noelle. It caused a huge buzz in the fandom, and no wonder. I was really surprised as well. Anyways, it's interesting that in both worlds one member of the Holiday family is gone. In Undertale Rudy and in Deltarune Des. During the same stream there was also a moment where we went to the school in Hotland where BERDLY'S mother teaches. We also saw her for the first time on the stream. This is very interesting because it could explain why BERDLY feels he has to always be the best in class. His mother may put a lot of pressure on him, making him feel like everyone expects him to be the smartest. The stream was truly amazing and it was cool that it also showed such little references to Deltarune. Thanks for watching. I think I've covered every Deltarune foreshadowing you can find in Undertale. However, if I missed anything, please write it in the comments because it was difficult for me to find any sources. No one has made a similar video, at least I haven't found one. So if you appreciate my work, I would be extremely grateful if you left a like, if you subscribed, or showed any different form of support. Huge thanks for supporting my Deltarune theories, I appreciate all of you. Until the next one, and see ya.